Hello, everyone, and welcome to Astrology with Jeffrey Bryan. Today, I'm going to be talking about Uranus and nuclear war. We've got the political climate going on right now of Russia, Ukraine, the United States, what's going on with the Chinese. So I thought I needed to bring attention to if there could be nuclear strikes happening in the near future. We're going to look at past charts of nuclear activity and when the United States dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima. So we'll go through what's going on with what happened in the past and what's going on in the future, and if it's likely anything will be coming up soon or not. So let's get started. All right, Uranus and nuclear war. So back on December 2nd, 1942, in Chicago, Illinois, we had the nuclear reaction. So just want to point out Uranus down here conjunct Saturn in Gemini in the first 10 degrees. So we have Uranus and Saturn in an air sign, and it's opposing a fire sign. It's opposing the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Sagittarius. So we'll find when we're going to have this nuclear explosion, we're talking air signs and fire signs. And when it actually hits the ground in an actual war, it's going to include an earth sign as we move on. So this was just the reaction. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. So we'll move to the next one. So here was the atomic explosion on July 16th, 1945 in New Mexico. So this is where they did a test before they were actually going to drop the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima. So here, this is very interesting because this is only like a month or so before the actual bomb on Hiroshima was dropped. So we get a lot of indications here on what to expect maybe in the future if one comes. So here we have Uranus in 15 degrees Gemini in the keyword of fidelity. So fidelity and loyalty to whatever it is the objective is at the time. And the objective was to, to destroy an entire country or city with this bomb. So we see it's 6 degrees away from Venus. And we have Mars here in Taurus approaching this in time space. So the interesting thing to notice, Uranus and Mars are going to be responsible for a nuclear attack, as well as we have Pluto. We have Pluto in a sextile to Venus exactly on this day when they did this test. And we have an in conjunction. So this is a harmonious aspect, a sextile. Then we have an in conjunction, which is a crisis in action. So we have the conjunction here of Venus and Uranus in Gemini's mutable Earth sign in a crisis situation to the past, the South Node in Capricorn. Anyway, we have also we have Pluto in Leo, which is a fixed fire sign. So here we have in connection air and fire in connection with crisis situations to the South Node on this particular day that they did the testing. So now let's move on to the next chart. So this is the actual event chart for when the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. It happened at 8:16 a.m. on August 6th, 1945. So as we can see, Venus has moved on. So I'm not using the houses in this. We're just looking at the aspects and what the planets were actually doing. I'm not worried about the houses in this situation. So we have Mars conjunct Uranus in Gemini. We've got the air. We have the sextile exactly Mars to Pluto in fire in Leo. So just exactly how we were playing it out on the test day, We had Venus at 9 degrees. Now we have Mars at 9 degrees in Gemini, also conjunct Uranus by 7 degrees. And they're both forming, we have the sextile, and then we also have the inconjunctions going to the node, exactly just like the test day. So just to put it all together, we have fire, Pluto. Pluto's the underground, the underworld. So this bomb is going deep into the earth and exploding, right? We have Mars, which is war, it's ambition, it's anger, it's aggression, it's passion. So we've got this igniting factor. It's the key to the whole explosion. And it's hitting Uranus, which is suddenness, it's rebellion. And, you know, it's going to be a sudden change that happens with this explosion. So it all fits together, and it's hitting the node in a crisis situation to hit the earth and explode and cause this to happen. So to see if this would occur again, we would want to see if there's going to be a similar scenario or situation. So I've been looking through the different years, and we are coming up to a time where we will have this combination again of Uranus and Mars in Gemini in this same decanate, actually, of fidelity. Now, this is in the decanate of intuition, but we're just, in this case, we're just needing to use that this is a mutable air sign. We have a fixed fire sign, and then we have the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. So it's very interesting. So now let's take a look at what I see coming up in the future that we need to be aware of. Okay, so now I'm on a website called Planet Watcher. I really like this site because you can zoom through and see what the planets are doing day by day and go ahead in years. So up here I can adjust this. So if you want to play around with it yourselves, it's really fun and makes it really easy. So I've fast forwarded this to June 28 or June 2028, which, you know, is like 6.5 years away from now. So I don't see, with what's going on in the world right now, I don't see any aspect coming up where there's going to be nuclear war. So that's the good news. But you never know. I'm just looking. We only have past history to look at of that aspect when we actually dropped that. I'm not aware of any other time in history where a nuclear bomb has been dropped that's been recorded. So if anyone out there knows, go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll check it out. So here we have, on this day, June 23rd of 2028, as you can see down here in Gemini, we have a huge, not a huge, but a stellium working of Mars, Mercury, and Uranus happening in the keyword of fidelity again. So here we are once again in the sign of Gemini in mutable air. We have a square to Jupiter in Earth. So, you know, that's in Virgo. So we've got this Earth sign that's going to be implemented here with this igniting of the fire and the suddenness and the rebelliousness of Uranus. Then we have a trine, though, this time to Pluto in another air sign. So now we don't have the fire element involved except for Mars. So, and it's in a harmonious aspect as well. So it's interesting that when the first and only bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima, we had a sextile, which is a 60-degree aspect. Now we have a trine, which is a 120-degree aspect, but we don't have the inconjunctions going to a node. So that's a positive thing. You know, it's outside of the reach of by several degrees of making it an inconjunction. But this is a time that we could see definitely some activity or threat of this, and maybe even some other kind of new, kind of weapon that we've never seen before. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's going on at this time period. But I just wanted to let everyone know that right now it's pretty safe to say that I don't see anything that's going to repeat itself as a nuclear threat. So if there is one, I would say that it's not going to really occur. So the threat is always there, but I think that this is an indication that it could be a possibility, although it doesn't exactly form like the prior nuclear bomb drop. So what I didn't mention earlier is we can see, if I go back here, go to June, let's go to, so here we can see, let's even go back further. So here we have May 16th of 2028. As you can see, Venus has already crossed Uranus right here, and she's at 19 degrees, and we have Mercury at 15 degrees, all in Gemini. So the red symbolizes retrograde. So now we know that Venus is moving back. I believe the same thing occurred back when we had the first bomb in Hiroshima, where we had this activity just like this. So then if we just start fast forwarding the days, we can see Mars is approaching and Venus is moving back towards. So if we go to the 31st, we can see Mars is getting closer. And now we have Mercury retrograde as well. So we've got these two, Venus and Mercury retrograde. So let's move across to the next month, move to the 8th. So now we have them, Mercury and Venus have gone back across, retrograde across Uranus. Mars is still approaching. Then as we move to the end of the month, we have Mars crossing over and crossing over Uranus and passing Venus and moving forward with Mercury. And as we approach July 5th, we have this square occur to Jupiter, and we have the in conjunction happening to the north node. Last time we had the in conjunct going to the south node. This time we have it going to the north node. But this is going to connect at least, 2 Earth signs and an in conjunct to this aspect that we had back when we had the bomb drop on Japan. And we it's out of the aspect of any it's out of aspect to Pluto here, but we still have Uranus trining Pluto at this moment. So a lot of similarities. It's not identical. I would never expect it to be identical anyway, but this is just things to look out for. And I'm very happy that we don't have a fire sign happening with a major planet, because that could really ignite something dangerous. I mean, we do have Neptune here in Aries, which is Mars's sign, and we have it in a sextile to Uranus and a sextile to Pluto, forming this triangle. So we do have a lot of harmony on this day. Whether that's going to be for the positive or the negative, we'll find out in the future. And we also have Saturn squaring Pluto. So that's going to be something else to consider at this time. If there is some kind of a threat of war going on. If not, we would read this totally different. So I hope I brought some clarity that a nuclear war isn't in the near future. However, I am concerned about one in the not so distant future. Hopefully, the world will be on track to a better future, and we won't be in the predicament that we are in the entire world right now. But astrology is always going to be in this conflict, this cosmic dance. And depending on where we are in the world at that time, we'll be able to better interpret what may occur or happen. So I think that even though I see that that could be a potential time, the fact that fire isn't really a big factor, especially with any negative aspects, I think we'll be okay. But it does concern me that in conjunction that I pointed out, and then with the Neptune in Aries. So we could be seeing something crazy going on at that time. But anyway, I hope I brought some clarity and understanding, and I just hope everyone's not worried about the future. We're going to make it through all of this. And yeah, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe and give a thumbs up. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. You can also follow me on Instagram at Astrology with Jeffrey Bryan, or on Getter at Jeffrey Bryan. And you can subscribe to my blog at my website, which is astrologywithjeffreybryan.com. And there I also have different kinds of meditations as well.